When Elon Musk, the man who never gives up, tells his team, "I don't know if I can keep doing this," the room freezes. No one moves, no one speaks. They've never seen their fearless leader look so defeated. But what they don't know is that behind his words lies a dangerous secret. Someone has infiltrated SpaceX, threatening to turn their Mars mission into a deadly weapon. Now engineer Ren Callaway and the core team must risk everything to uncover the truth. With their families in danger and time running out, they discover that nothing at SpaceX is what it seems, not even Ren's own brother. As the rocket countdown begins, one question remains: can they save the Mars mission without losing everything they love? The fluorescent lights of SpaceX headquarters buzzed overhead as the clock on the wall ticked past 9 p.m. outside the glass walls of conference room A. The main floor sat empty, most employees having gone home hours ago, but inside, tension filled the air like a physical thing. Elon Musk stood at the head of the long table, staring down at the papers spread before him. His normally confident posture was gone. Instead, his shoulders slumped forward, as if carrying an invisible weight. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his fingers trembled slightly as he reached for his water glass. The 6 people seated around the table exchanged nervous glances. They had seen their boss tired before Elon was famous for his punishing work schedule. But this was different. This was a man at his breaking point. Ren Callaway, the lead engineer for life support systems, fidgeted with her tablet pen. 32, she was the youngest person in the room, but her brilliant mind had earned her a seat at the table where the most important decisions were made. She studied Elon's face, her analytical brain, cataloging the signs of extreme stress: dilated pupils, muscle tension around the jaw, slowed speech patterns. Something was very wrong. The latest simulations for the Mars landing module showed 3 critical failure points. Elon finally said, his voice, "We're 6 weeks from launch, and our margins for success are too narrow." Taha Hassan, the flight director, leaned forward. His calm voice had guided dozens of missions through crisis points, and he instinctively used it. Now, we've overcome bigger problems in less time. Elon, the team can work in shifts. We'll find solutions beside him. Zara Chen nodded in agreement. As head of communications, she had crafted SpaceX's public image through triumphs and disasters alike. Her mind was already racing, thinking of how to message any potential delays without alarming investors. "Ta's right," she said. "We've been in tighter spots." Elon shook his head slowly. "It's not just the technical problems. It's everything: the pressure from the board, the government contracts, the competitors saying it can't be done. The timeline." He trailed off, rubbing his temples. Percy Williams, head of security, sat silently in the corner, his watchful eyes missing nothing. He'd protected high-profile people for 2 decades, but never had he seen Elon Musk, the man who laughed in the face of impossible odds, look so defeated. "The Mars mission is more than a project," Elon continued. "It's humanity's future. If we fail—" He looked up, meeting each person's gaze one by one. "The consequences go beyond SpaceX, beyond our careers, beyond our lifetimes." The room grew still. Everyone there had dedicated years to making Mars habitation possible. They all understood the stakes. Elon picked up a report, then set it down without looking at it. His next words came out so quietly that Ren had to lean forward to hear them. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." The room froze. No one moved, no one spoke. It was as if time itself had stopped at the admission of doubt. From the man who never showed, Annie Ren felt her chest tighten. In the 4 years she'd worked directly with Elon, she had seen him furious, excited, focused, even playful, but never broken. The Elon Musk the world knew transformed the impossible into the inevitable through sheer force of will if he was giving up. Trick cleared his throat, about to speak. When Elon's phone buzzed, he glanced at the screen and something changed in his expression. "Excuse me," he said. Already standing, "I need to take this." He stepped out into the hallway, leaving his stunned team behind through the glass wall. Ren watched his face transform as he listened to the caller. The defeated slump vanished, his back straightened. His free hand gestured sharply, a sign of the intense focus she recognized from breakthrough moments in the past. "Should we wait?" asked Dr. Sanjay Mehta, the chief medical officer for the Mars mission. He had been quietly taking notes on his tablet throughout the meeting. "Yes," said Zara firmly. "Whatever that call is about, it's important." Minutes ticked by. The team spoke in low voices, theories bouncing between them, a breakthrough from the propulsion team, a problem with the investors. No one mentioned the elephant in the room, Elon's moment of doubt, but it hung over them all when Elon re-entered. He was a changed man. Energy radiated from him. His eyes were bright with that familiar intensity that both inspired and terrified his employees. "The meeting is adjourned," he announced, gathering his papers quickly. "We'll reconvene tomorrow at 8 a.m. I need each of you to review your department's readiness reports." Before then, Elon Trick started about the failure points. "We'll address everything tomorrow." Elon cut him off, already moving toward the door. "Get some rest, you're all going to need it." And then he was gone, leaving confusion in his wake. Ren stared at the empty doorway, her mind racing what had happened in those few minutes, who had called what could possibly transform someone from the edge of breakdown to recharge determination so quickly. "Well said." Zara, breaking the silence. "That was weird," finished Percy, standing up from his corner seat. "Very weird." The team slowly gathered their things, each lost in thought as they filed out. Ren noticed TK lingering behind, staring at the chair where Elon had sat. "You okay?" she asked him. TK looked up, his expression troubled. "In 15 years, working with visionaries, I've learned something important. Ren, when they break, it's not because they're weak. It's because they see something coming that the rest of us haven't spotted yet." A chill ran down Ren's spine. "What do you think he saw?" Trick shook his head. "I don't know, but whatever it is," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. As Ren walked to her car, in the nearly empty parking lot, she couldn't shake the image of Elon's face when he'd uttered those unthinkable words. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." She had dedicated her life to the Mars mission. They all had. Their work would change human history forever. But for the first time, Ren wondered what price they might have to pay to make it happen, and whether Elon Musk had just realized that price was too high. The thought followed Ren Calloway home like an unwelcome shadow. Her small electric car hummed quietly through the empty streets of Hawthorne. Most of her co-workers lived in trendy Los Angeles neighborhoods or beachside communities, but Ren preferred being close to SpaceX headquarters. Her apartment was just a 10-minute drive away, perfect for those middle-of-the-night inspirations that demanded immediate testing tonight, though she wished for a longer drive, more time to process what had happened in that conference room. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." Elon's words played on repeat. In her mind 6 years ago, watching him unveil his Mars colonization plan had changed her life. She'd been a graduate student, then brilliant but directionless. His vision had given her purpose. If Elon Musk could dream of putting humans on Mars, she could dedicate her life to making it happen. and she had, while her classmates chased jobs at Google or Apple. Ren had focused exclusively on life support systems for long-duration space missions, her doctoral thesis on. Recycling carbon dioxide had caught SpaceX's attention. 4 years, thousands of hours, and countless sleepless nights. Later, she was leading the team responsible for keeping the first Mars explorers alive. But now, Ren pulled into her apartment complex, a modest building that housed mostly aerospace workers and medical staff from the nearby hospital. She sat in her car for a moment, watching a stray cat slink along the fence line. If Elon was giving up, what did that mean for all of them? Her phone buzzed, a text from Zara. "You okay?" Ren typed back, "Just confused, never seen him like that." 3 dots appeared as Zara typed her response. "Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow," inside her apartment. Ren flipped on the lights. Most people's homes express their personalities through colors, decorations, and personal touches. Ren's expressed hers through function and problem-solving. The living room contained 3 whiteboards covered in equations. A half-assembled drone occupied the dining table. Bookshelves overflowed with engineering textbooks and science fiction novels. The dreams that had shaped her reality. The only truly personal touch was a photo beside her computer. Ren and her younger brother Finn, both grinning, arms around each other's shoulders at his college graduation. 2 years ago, their parents should have been in that photo too, but the car accident 7 years earlier had made Finn her only family. Ren kicked off her shoes and collapsed onto her couch. She should eat something, but her mind was too full for hunger. The Mars mission was 6 weeks away from launch. The life support systems, her systems were showing stress fractures in the simulations, and now Elon himself seemed to be cracking. She pulled out her tablet and opened the latest test results. If she could just identify the failure points, maybe she could. A video call notification popped up on her screen. Finn's smiling face appeared as the profile picture. Ren hesitated. Her brother could read her too well, but ignoring him would only prompt more calls. She accepted the call. Finn's face filled the screen, his apartment in Seattle visible behind him. At 26, he looked like a male version of Ren. Same dark curly hair, same intense brown eyes, same tendency to focus so completely on a problem that the outside world disappeared. "Hey, space girl," he greeted her with his usual nickname. "You look terrible." "Thanks," Ren replied, attempting a smile. "Just a long day." Finn's eyes narrowed. He was finishing his master's degree in computer security. His ability to spot patterns made him both an excellent programmer and an excellent brother when it came to detecting her moods, Mars mission problems. He asked something like that, classified something like that, or just complicated something like that. Ren sighed. "Both. I can't really talk about it." Finn nodded, understanding the nature of her work. Then he brightened. "Well, I've got good news. At least I got that internship I applied for the government. One that's amazing." For a moment, Ren's own troubles faded. Finn had been working toward this opportunity for years. "Starts next month. I'll be moving to DC. I'm so proud of you," Ren said, meaning it. After their parents died, she'd worried constantly about Finn, but he had grown into a remarkable young man, brilliant, resilient, and with a moral compass that never wavered. They chatted for a few more minutes, but Finn clearly sensed her distraction. "You sure you're okay?" he asked finally. "Just tired and facing some complex problems." "That's your natural habitat," Finn said with a grin. "You thrive on complex problems." After they hung up, Ren stared at her tablet screen. Finn was right. Complex problems were her specialty. She had earned her place at SpaceX by solving challenges others thought impossible. She stood up suddenly, decision made. Instead of sitting here worrying, she could be working on solutions. 20 minutes later, Ren pulled back into the SpaceX parking lot. A security guard waved her through. Many engineers kept irregular hours, and her face was well known. The main building was eerily quiet motion. Activated lights flickered on as she walked through the corridors toward her lab. Most of the complex systems for the Mars mission had digital twins, virtual replicas that could be tested and modified without touching the actual hardware. If she could run some alternative simulations tonight, maybe she could identify what had Elon so concerned as she approached the engineering wing. Ren heard something unexpected voices. At nearly midnight, this section should be empty. She slowed her pace. Listening, the voices were coming from the direction of the restricted R&D lab, a separate facility where the most classified projects were developed. Normal protocol would be to call security if she suspected unauthorized access, but one of the voices sounded familiar. In fact, it sounded like Elon. He shouldn't be here either. Not after how exhausted he'd looked at the meeting, yet his voice was unmistakable. Even through the heavy lab door, Ren moved closer, telling herself she was just confirming it was really him before leaving. She had no business eavesdropping on private conversations, but then she heard the other voice, cold, clinical, unfamiliar. And the words stopped her cold. The timeline is non-negotiable. Mr. Musk, you agreed to our terms. You're changing the terms, Elon replied, frustration evident in his tone. You're asking the impossible. Nothing is impossible for you. Mr. Musk, that's why we need this to happen. The stranger responded with chilling certainty. Ren leaned closer, heart pounding the timeline. Your demanding would put my people at risk. Elon said, his voice tight. Your people are expendable. The mission is not shock-made. Ren lose her balance. Her elbow brushed against a shelf of tools, sending a small wrench clattering to the floor with what seemed like deafening noise. In the silent corridor, the voices inside the lab abruptly stopped. Ren froze, knowing she should run, but unable to make her feet move. The lab door slowly swung open. Elon Musk stared at her, surprise quickly replaced by something that sent a chill down her spine. Fear, Ren, he said carefully, his voice controlled. You shouldn't be here. Behind him stood a tall, thin man in an expensive dark suit. His gray hair was cut with military precision, his posture perfect, but it was his eyes that caught Ren's attention. Pale blue, calculating, utterly without warmth. The stranger smiled, but the expression was merely muscles, moving, nothing genuine behind it. Malay, he said her name, rolling off his tongue with disturbing familiarity. How fortunate we were just about to call you in, across town. Hassan sat at his home office desk, staring at the family photo taken just 3 weeks ago. His wife, Sasha, smiled back at him, her eyes tired but happy as she held their newborn daughter, Illa. The tiny bundle in pink had changed everything for TK. For 15 years, he had dedicated himself to space exploration. As flight director, he had guided dozens of missions through critical phases, making split-second decisions that determined success or failure. The pressure had never bothered him before. In fact, he thrived on it. But now, looking at Layla's tiny face, priorities shifted like tectonic plates beneath his feet. You're still working? Sasha stood in the doorway, Illa asleep against her shoulder. TK smiled, apologetically, just thinking meeting with Elon today was strange. Sasha raised an eyebrow. After years of marriage to a SpaceX executive, she had developed a sixth sense for workplace drama. Strange how I can't really say. Trick rubbed his eyes. But it's got me worried. Sasha crossed the room and kissed the top of his head. Come to bed soon, you promised her. Remember, she didn't need to elaborate before I was born. TK had made a solemn vow. This Mars mission would be his last big project after launch. He would step back from the demanding flight director role, take a position with regular hours, be present for his daughter's childhood in a way his own father never had been. I remember TK said softly. After Sasha and Ela left the room, TK turned back to his computer. He had been reviewing mission parameters when Elon's words from the meeting surfaced in his memory. I don't know if I can keep doing this in 15 years working with brilliant, driven people. Trick had learned something crucial. Visionaries only broke when they saw something others didn't yet see. Elon's breakdown. In that conference room wasn't weakness, it was a warning. His secure phone buzzed on the desk. A message from Zara, emergency meeting secure line, 30 minutes before Tar could respond. A second message arrived from an unknown number. The Mars mission is compromised. Trust. No one, not even Musk Tar, stared at his phone. Blood turning cold in his line of work. Security was paramount. His number was known to only a handful of people. Whoever sent this had access to highly restricted information. Years of crisis management kicked in. First rule. Verify. Second rule, secure. The mission trick opened his laptop and began systematically checking mission protocols and security logs. As flight director, he had access to all systems. What he found made his stomach clench. Someone had been accessing the mission's core programming during overnight hours. For the past 3 weeks, small changes nearly undetectable, but together they created a pattern that made no sense for a Mars habitat mission. He traced the access logs backward, looking for authorized users. Most late-night work came from the usual suspects, engineers known for their odd hours, but one name appeared with unusual frequency. In recent weeks, Ren Calloway. TK frowned. Ren was brilliant, dedicated, and by all accounts, trustworthy. He had personally approved her promotion to lead engineer. He pulled up her work history. The modifications she had made were all within her area of expertise. Life support systems, but the timing was odd. Why would she suddenly start working between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.? 3 nights per week, his phone buzzed again. Zara, are you joining the call? TK glanced at the time, lost in his investigation. He had missed the start of the emergency meeting. He quickly dialed into the secure line. Sorry I'm late, he said, as the connection went through. Investigating something. We all are. Percy's voice came through, unusually tense for the normally calm security chief. What's this about? TK asked. I've got activity in the restricted R&D lab. Percy explained. 2 identified individuals, Elon and Ren Calloway, plus 1. Unknown. Zara's sharp voice cut in. How is that possible with our security? That's what I'd like to know. Percy replied grimly. Whoever it has managed to avoid every camera, sophisticated counter-surveillance technique. Trick's mind raced. Ren at the lab, in the middle of the night, with Elon and an unidentified visitor. Have you checked Ren's access logs recently? TK asked carefully. A pause. Why? Percy asked. Because I'm looking at some unusual patterns in her system access, late-night modifications to life support. Programming. What kind of modifications? This from Dr. Mehta, the medical officer, speaking up. For the first time, I'm not sure yet. Tar admitted they're within her area of expertise, but I trust Ren. Zara interrupted. If she's making changes, she has good reason. Normally I'd agree, Percy said, but combined with tonight's unusual meeting, I'm going over there. Zara decided. Percy, meet me at the security entrance. Wait, TK said urgently. I just received an anonymous message. It said the Mars mission is compromised and to trust no one. Not even Elon. Silence fell. Over the line, as his words sank in, could be a prank, Dr. Mehta suggested, or disinformation, Percy added, trying to create distrust among the leadership team. Either way, we need to be careful, TK said. Percy, don't trust the security system. Someone's been inside it. Understood. Percy's voice sharpened Zara. I'll meet you, but approach with caution. I've got unknown visitors in R&D Ren's already inside. Ren TK felt his chest tighten. If she was making unauthorized changes and now meeting secretly with Elon and an unknown person, Percy locked down the building now. He ended the call and stared at the family photo on his desk, Layla's tiny face, Sasha's tired smile. His promise to them both Trick had faced mission crisis before rocket failures, oxygen leaks, communication blackouts. But this was different. This was betrayal from within, possibly from the very top. He picked up his keys and headed for the Dire. Whatever was happening at SpaceX tonight, he needed to see it with his own eyes, because if the Mars mission was truly compromised, so was his promise to his family, and Tar Hassan always kept his promises. Zara Chen had built her career on managing other people's crisis. As head of communications for SpaceX, she had explained rocket explosions to frightened investors, translated complex engineering failures into language the public could understand, and crafted narratives that kept the dream of Mars exploration alive through setbacks that would have killed lesser companies. But nothing in her 15-year career had prepared her for what happened in that conference room today. Driving towards SpaceX headquarters, she replayed Elon's words in her mind. I don't know if I can keep doing this. 6 years of working closely with him, and she had never heard anything close to surrender in his voice. Something was very wrong. And now this strange midnight meeting with Ren and an unidentified visitor. Zara pulled into her driveway, deciding to grab her emergency kit before heading to the office. She needed just 5 minutes at home. Her husband, Dom, looked up from his laptop as she rushed through the door. As a science journalist, he kept similar irregular hours and understood the demands of her job. Emergency? He asked, already knowing the answer from her expression. Something's happening at SpaceX, Zara said, grabbing her go-bag from the closet. The small duffel contained everything she might need for an unexpected overnight crisis: clean clothes, toiletries, chargers, and her crisis management binder. Dom disappeared into the kitchen, returning with a travel mug of tea. You'll figure it out, he said, handing it to her. You always do. Zara accepted the tea. Gratefully, did you see Elon's interview yesterday? The one about the Mars timeline? Sure did. He seemed off to you. Dom considered this not particularly same old confident Elon. Why just checking something? Zara kissed him goodbye and headed back to her car. That was the problem to the public. Elon still appeared completely confident about the Mars mission. But behind closed doors, he was falling apart. What had changed? Instead of driving straight to SpaceX, Zara pulled into an empty parking lot and opened her laptop as communications director. She had archives of every public statement, interview, and video release from the past decade. She pulled up footage from the past month, studying Elon closely. The contrast was striking. In public, energetic, visionary, unstoppable; in private meetings, increasingly withdrawn, tense, hesitant. The pattern had started 3 weeks ago, right around the time TAC had noticed anomalies in the mission programming. Zara dug deeper, reviewing technical announcements about the Mars mission. Small inconsistencies began to emerge. Changes in payload, specifications, subtle shifts in mission objectives. Nothing that would alarm the public, but together they formed a troubling picture. Her secure phone rang. Percy Williams, we have a problem, he said without preamble. I've got cameras down in 3 sections near R&D security protocols are being overridden by who unknown. But Percy hesitated. It's sophisticated internal. Someone who knows our systems. Zara thought of the anomalies she'd just discovered. I'm on my way. Don't confront them. I'm meeting you at the security entrance. Remember. Hurry. Percy said something big is happening. Zara ended the call and stared at her computer screen, where Elon's face smiled confidently during last week's interview, the public face, the mask. What was behind it? She dialed a private number, someone who might have answers. Dr. Lester, it's Zara Chen. I need to ask you about the Mars habitat. Atmospheric specifications. The recent changes, Dr. Amara Lester, Environmental Systems Design Lead, sounded surprised. What changes? The ones Ren Calloway implemented last week? Ren hasn't made any systemic changes. Dr. Lester said slowly. There was a routine calibration, but Zara felt her pulse quicken. But what she did ask some unusual questions recently about the habitat's capacity for weapons systems neutralization. Weapons systems. Zara repeated confusion, turning to alarm. The habitat doesn't have weapon systems, exactly what I told her. She said it was a theoretical security question. Zara thanked Dr. Lester and hung up. Mind racing, the Mars habitat was designed for scientific research and eventual colonization. Why would Ren be asking? About weapons combined with TK's discovery of late-night programming changes and Percy's security breaches, a disturbing picture was forming. Her phone pinged with a message from Trick, en route to SpaceX. Meet in security office. Zara started her car, the pieces clicking together in her mind, the sudden changes in Elon's behavior. Ren's strange questions and late-night activities, the security breaches, the unknown visitor who somehow evaded all cameras for years. She had managed SpaceX's public image crafting, the story of humanity's expansion to Mars. But what if there was another story beneath the surface? As she pulled out of the parking lot, Zara made a decision. Tonight, she would find the truth, whatever it cost, because while she had built her career telling other people's stories, Zara Chen had never been comfortable with lies, not even necessary ones. Ren stood frozen in the doorway of the R&D lab, her mind racing to process what was happening. Elon Musk, her mentor, her hero. The reason she'd dedicated her life to Mars exploration was staring at her with